Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of Fantastic Four issue 38. And I thought this issue was okay. Mainly because a lot of the characters act out of character in this, which is really kind of strange. I overall think that the setup is sound, its execution is where it gets a little bit weird. Because the thing is, in certain kind of shows, movies, other kind of things I review, plot demands that certain things happen. And here's where the plot kind of demands that certain characters act out of character for certain plot things to occur. And it's just like, alright, we'll kind of have to see how that kind of goes. Now, granted, I do like that She-Hulk, which we had seen also turn back into her regular kind of persona from Avengers issue 50, is in this one doing her superhero lawyering and all that kind of stuff. So that, doing that stuff in the courtroom and her connection with the Fantastic Four, that I don't have a problem with. It's where it gets down into the nuts and bolts that it gets a little bit weird. So we see that the families in the Fantastic Four is doing all that kind of stuff, but we see that somebody is bringing in pizza, and their security system for the Baxter building is like, nope, that is somebody else, and it's the Wizard. So they go down, trying to figure out what's going on, and they're kind of fighting him. They get Johnny and Ben to kind of come and give him back up, but he's like, no need, you have been served, and he is suing Dragon Man and the Fantastic Four for custody of Bentley 23, the one that has been with the Future Foundation and likes Valeria. So it's like, alright, okay. Like, granted, I don't have a problem with this specifically. It's just like, alright. The setup is very kind of like a Silver Age kind of story, and I don't have a problem with that. But then we're getting through it, and it's like, alright, we need to call in a specialist. And they shoot off a green Fantastic Four symbol, and we see that She-Hulk is like helping a kid get a ball, and the kid's like, you sure you don't want to play? You picked me last because you're a girl. It's like, I'm just like, kid, if you are trying to play and you have She-Hulk and I understand those stupid kind of things, but I'm like, I'd be like, hey, now granted, if like a whole lot of other powerhouses were involved, maybe you'd have more of a like crazy shit, like crazy time trying to like pick. But I'm just like, all right. And she's like, all right, cool, time to suit up. Gets into her lawyer outfit, which was kind of cool. It's like, hey, the suit up phase, and she's like, yeah, would it have killed you to give me a text read? Like, come on. So they then go down to the courthouse, which is like, hey, let's kind of do this. And She-Hulk's like, all right, just kind of follow my lead, kind of thing. Don't get too crazy in here, because this is like a specific courtroom that the judge deals with like superpowered things, and she doesn't take shit. And it's kind of cool. I really like seeing this kind of thing, because you're like, okay, what happens in a super kind of powered courtroom and everything like that when you've got all these super beings, and how does that kind of work? And they of course think that since he's a villain, even though he's pushing that he's reformed, that it will be kind of easy, but it actually isn't, because he starts bringing up all these different kind of stuff throughout the different kind of hearings, mainly that Dragon Man has not been a good guardian, that at first he pretty much plays off and does what Jen calls a Thanos defense, that like all the other bad stuff was like Skrull, clone, insert crazy ass thing, almost like the Chewbacca defense. And I was just like, ha. And they're able to prove that he is a not the same kind of clone that was doing all the rest of the other kind of stuff, which kind of is bullshit, but whatever. Saying that Dragon Man is not even really a synthetic being, even though the judge is like, hey, you're out of line. So then he calls upon the witness of Diablo, who created Dragon Man, to prove that he is not sentient. And this is where things start to go a little bit weird, because they're in a courtroom, and we see that he's like, well, like doing his kind of introductions. And for some reason, Sue is like, Ben, you can say it for real, do it. And Jen's like, don't. And Ben tries to do a clobbering time, and they start fighting before we see that the judge is able to use her powers to be like, stop being a bunch of assholes. And it's nutty. You're like, why would Sue do that? She is usually one of the kind of calmer kind of heads throughout any kind of Fantastic Four kind of thing. Now, it might be because they did the whole Johnny thing. Johnny would usually be the kind of one that would kind of egg on where Sue would rein in, and because Johnny is in the predicament that he is, someone else has to fall on to be the asshole instigator. But it doesn't really sit right with me that she would do that. Or of course, like, yeah, stop this shit, and then Diablo's like, yeah, I can just snap my fingers and screw the dude over. And Dragon Man's like, take him out. Let him leave, go. He then brings up that Bentley has been in danger with the Griever, the symbiotes and everything like that, and I'm like, anybody within all existence would have been threatened by the Griever and also the symbiotes. Laying that blame squarely on those involved doesn't bring anything. Of course, also bringing up that Bentley went and assaulted somebody through an interdimensional portal, and Reed is like, that ain't good, I'm kind of pissed. And I'm like, alright, we're going to have to deal with that kind of thing. So, the thing is that Reed and Sue try and put themselves forward to be Bentley's guardians, trying to head this off. However, the Wizard sees this as like his kind of plan of attack. It's like, alright, so they recess, they try and figure out what's going on. Jen's like, you guys are not doing what you should be doing, and you should have consulted me first before even putting yourself up as guardians on it. And of course, Val's pissed off at Bentley for doing what he's doing, and Bentley's like, I'm a genius, and I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't because of that asshole. Why is he saying that, like, oh, I know you can see this, and Bentley's got to kind of figure it out. I think he's going to be the one that kind of has to muck with the Wizard and stop his kind of plan a little bit by essentially maybe kind of reversing what's going on to see what he's doing and kind of use that to help She-Hulk bring up her defense and everything. Then we see that, of course, the Wizard puts out and smashes through Reed Richards and Sue, bringing up the Future Foundation and all the danger they've been in, leaving them, what he's saying is pretty much stranded, but like Sue's like, you're taking it out of context until parents like begged him to come home. Also weaponizing Franklin's therapy and everything, and they're just... It's really kind of weird. You're like, okay, I understand the law's not really their kind of forte, but She-Hulk, well, granted, this is probably kind of more of a multi-issue arc, but Ben's like, screw that noise, I'm gonna take your ass out, and, of course, it brings up to the point, let's see, also bringing up the whole child soldiers thing, and Ben's like, I ain't taking that, before the judge is like, you know what, I'm questioning why any of you have children, and it's like, yeah, you could kind of see that predictability coming, so this is a kind of sticky situation for the Fantastic Four to be in. I am intrigued to see how they're going to get out of it, because I hope that how I would want it to kind of shake down is that Bentley and She-Hulk kind of team up the most and are able to foil the Wizard's plan, whatever it is. It's just kind of like, granted, we have seen it seeded throughout the issues and everything. It's just... There's kind of some nuts and bolts in here that needed to be worked out a little bit better for me to be okay with how the story was kind of going, because there are better kind of plans of attack for them to muck around with how Reed and Sue have like parented and guardianship kids as well. It's just, it felt like you had to kind of take certain ones out of character to kind of get it to happen like that. And it just seems, granted, the Fantastic Four deals with a lot of absurd shit, but it almost gets to a point where it's like getting like, I don't know about that. I don't know about it. It's like, I'm okay with the premise, but how it's kind of going, you're like, alright, we'll kind of have to see how this shakes out. This might not be my favorite kind of story, which is kind of a shame because I like She-Hulk doing her lawyering thing and I want to see more of that. It's just, I would prefer that characters don't act out of character in order for that to happen. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.